Good day.
Good day.
Today we speak with conductor Bruno Campo. Welcome. We would like to hear everything about you. We would like how you come so long with your work. Would you please tell us where was beginning for your love to music?
Hello. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very honored. Now, well, I will say important things that have defined my life. Of course, the support of my parents. When they said, yes, you have certain talent, go for it, we support you. Second is when I was in touch with El Sistema in Venezuela. I am from Guatemala, but there was some collaborations with El Sistema in Venezuela. And when I was 14 years old, I recognized something that changed my life, and it was to realize that everything that we are able to dream, when we follow this dream with all the passion and with all the tenacity, and we create a plan for it, there are no impossibilities. Everything is possible. And when I learned that at 14 years old, it gave a completely different sense to my life. That was one thing. And the second thing is, through this program, I understood that everything you do in life, of course, we all need to survive and we all need to move forward. We will have aspirations, we all have ambitions, but it's not worth it if we are not constantly thinking on how can we also share what we have, how can we transform other people. So once your achievements also become an element to be shared, or to help others get inspired and to help others get transformed, then it makes a lot of sense and life feels really like moving forward. And this is something I learned in El Sistema, like, okay, you grow, you develop certain things, can be as a musician or as anything else, but in the same moment as you start thinking, how can I help others, you grow much faster. And then you also help others growing faster. So the growing is exponential. And that's something that I learned very young, and that changed my life. And since then, every step in my life, while I was 22, I decided to found this project, El Sistema, in Guatemala, in my country. And in 6 years, based on this same thinking of there are no impossibilities, in six years, this program reached something like 2,500 musicians, young musicians, many from them kids that had no opportunities before, and especially in a country like Guatemala, which criminality and there are social problems. Well, this project was really a light that came into society to bring a lot of not only inspiration, but real social transformation. And in these 6 years, we were able to include 2,500 musicians, to create new 10 different youth orchestras, 8 music schools. So this kind of 8 music schools in 6 years only of a lot of development. Of course, I found myself at 22, 23, knocking at the door of the president of my country saying, hey, we need to do something for our society. I am a musician and I think I have a solution of how can we do something with music to impact society positively and transform. And in these moments when criminality, well, it's still like that, no? There's a lot of drug dealer situation in our countries in Central America, and this criminality is just in the hand of the kids. 12-year-old kids have these negative opportunities just opening the door of their house. And then, of course, I said, when I brought this idea not only to president, but to mayor, Ministry of Culture, Ministry, I was knocking at everyone's door when I was young.
I need to ask, how old you in this time?
I will not answer that. And you will edit us. No, but when I was young, I saw that there were possibilities of transformation, important impact and transformation that meant a lot. And that we're thinking on sharing this to others and transforming society, giving to others, I also felt growing. So this is a beautiful way of seeing life, of how to grow. There was a point when I was already 26 or something, that I said, 28 or something, that I said, okay, I really want to do music in the best and most deep way as possible. because I also want to give tribute and honor music as it's with its utility. And therefore I came to study in Europe, in Graz, in Austria, and I found myself there, a very good space to develop all my philosophical ideas, not only musical but also philosophical, because I was following a mentor, a philosophical mentor there, that opened a lot my mind. So it was not only about studying music, but how can music contribute to humanity, to society, what are the highest and so the philosophical approach to basically everything we do in life, I think, is important. It's highly important. It's almost like religious, because if we don't have values as humans, I mean, everything we do has no real meaning. But in the moment that we absorb certain philosophical values, wherever they are, and the more humanistic values they are, the better, we are able also to see life different. And everything we do it with a reason, for something, with a sense. And that's, I will say, a big difference. Basically, what I want to say is, after my studies, and now that I'm developing my career as a conductor, I continue, of course, doing my work, inspirational musical work, through projects like El Sistema or simply young orchestras, youth orchestra programs. I'm also developing my career as a professional conductor. I have some programs already with the Aarhus Symphony Orchestra, or in 2020 already with the Copenhagen Philharmonic, and of course in Central Europe also doing some things. But important for me is, every time I have the opportunity to approach to music, to do it in a way where it impacts humans positively, because not only the musicians that I'm working with as a conductor ideally should be inspired with this and see that, wow, what we are doing has a meaning, has sense. What incredible ideas Mozart brought to here, or Wagner or Bruckner. But also, when we are in a concert, what is this kind of language that sometimes is not very clear, but somehow impacts the society, the audience sitting there. And that's, I think, what makes the difference in the concerts. There are concerts that are beautiful music and very nice, and there are concerts that we always remember. There are concerts that impact us in some way that we say, oh, there was something in there. And sometimes we don't know how to explain it. But
can you explain it?
Yes. I believe there are different channels of communication. Of course, we hear music through our ears. When we are in a concert, we have the extra, different from a CD, no? To see what is happening also, so we get a bit more involved. But I also believe that there are other higher, more subtle channels of communication, more emotional, and also not only emotional, but also mental. There are little myths, for example, that when a conductor has a strong, very clear idea of the piece, the musicians just feel it immediately. So the great conductors, they come, they don't need to move their arms too much, but their idea is so clear that everybody in the room feels that idea and somehow unifies the concept. And that's kind of a higher level that it's almost inexplicable. We cannot even, with science, say it is like this or that, or not as far as I know, but I do believe it exists. You can feel immediately when somebody with a clear, deep, especially if it's about humanism or philosophical idea, comes in the room, and everybody can just feel that there's something that had Claudio Abbado, for example. Claudio Abbado, especially at his late times, will come to the rehearsal very, very soft, very relaxed, but with such a clear idea that everybody will immediately get inspired and just like upraised, and that, I think, it makes the difference. I consider that that's the meaning of art, that's the real sense of art, music, and well, the rest of the arts also. Because if art is not able to raise us as civilization, it doesn't make sense.
How you made this young musician to artist who can tell about this kind of art?
I think it's a good question. How to make that is I will say, first, living it. Those philosophical concepts cannot be just theoretical. I think if we don't live them in our life, in our daily life, when we wake up, when we do our daily actions, if we are not constantly in this dynamic, it's more difficult to transfer those values to others. And second, of course, doing our best effort and always remembering why are we doing this. I do love to work with young musicians and professional musicians, of course. It's a bit different, the psychology, but what I love about young musicians is their eyes are like wide open. They want to absorb everything. And once that happens, we have also a responsibility to bring very good ideas. Not only philosophical ideas, but also musical ideas. Okay, why is this phrase doing that? The theory behind the composition, or what was Mozart thinking? Well, we don't know, we cannot ask Mozart, but I will think based on my knowledge of this or that he wanted this phrase in this way because of the harmony, or because of the composition technique, or because of that. Trying to bring and to share these kind of arguments to them. I have a dream and I have a mission with these young musicians. And I think it is not to let them be simply musicians behind a stand, a music stand that play the notes and wait for a conductor to tell them what to do, but to activate them in a perspective or in a mind status, that they start thinking about the music. How would I do this? Why would I do this phrase that way and not that way? Which period are we speaking of? Is this Wagner or is this Mozart? It's different periods. So how should I approach to this period? How should I approach to this other one? What kind of sound do I want in this? So making the young musicians develop their imagination and their creativity every time they're in front of a paper. A paper is nothing else than ink above a paper. But when we are able to read that language and see behind that language all the ideas that are behind, I think our mind gets so expanded, and that's the human growing that I believe is important for us, not only as musicians, but in general society. We are a very industrialized society. I have to say, it sounds a bit negative, but a bit dehumanized society. Very, very focused in individual interests, very focused in materialism, very focused in having and not being.
And how you can change focus?
Well, as I said, by living it and then by sharing it to others, inspiring others. If I have the chance, this is what I love about being a conductor, because my work is about having the opportunity to be in front of 50, 60, 100 musicians every week and do something to share this vision with them so they all get a bit more inspired every week. And with that also the audience. So I see my mission as a conductor not only musical but social transformative also. And that I find with a lot of meaning.
May I ask you, what you source for this amazing energy?
Well, I can say, as I said at the beginning, I learned this when I was very young from José Antonio Abreu, the founder of El Sistema in Venezuela. He was my mentor and he was helping me when I founded El Sistema in my country. We were having always communication. I was traveling to Venezuela and having a figure with a high sense of humanism and a very strong mind, somebody that will always do what was fair, somebody that will look for the best, will always think about the kids before any personal interest, will always say what is the best for a project at this point. And every decision will take based on what is the best for the people. Yes. Having a mentor and a figure like that inspires you in such a way that when you develop in your life, and also life has treated me very, very beautifully. I'm so grateful with everything around my life and all my path. And when you have this kind of life, you don't feel anything else than the strong commitment and responsibility and mission to share it to others. And this is why I again love my work as a conductor, because it's about this. It's about sharing human values, a bit of humanism, a bit of, to make us more sensible, to make us more
hard.
Yeah.
And so, how you work with Aarhus Music School begin?
Well, my relation with the Aarhus Music School and now also the Aarhus Symphony Orchestra is already long. I mean, 5 years I think I started coming to Aarhus, developing a beautiful relation. We definitely fit very much in the vision of transformation, social transformation through music. During my time, I have seen new projects being born in here. Not only the music school getting more expanded every time with more ideas, teachers more inspired, teachers working more together, making more projects to put all the students together, but also new initiatives like, for example, Musiksack and Musikunik, which are, Musiksack is a project in Hasletov, I think, where it's focused in a school with kids with diverse backgrounds, social backgrounds and diverse, they come from different countries and speak different languages. There is a very multicultural area. And now this Musiksack program, based on a Sistema, started to make an orchestra there. Rebecca and Gabriela were here students in the music school and later in the conservatory as their bachelor work, how do you call this, like the thesis. Instead of doing a work for the bachelor graduation, they did a project, and it was to found a children orchestra. And now this children orchestra is playing incredible and doing a lot of projects, and many kids that didn't have the opportunity before, or that didn't simply know that music school existed or that orchestras existed, now they are involved playing string orchestra. And so I think that the vision of the music school in Aarhus is really transformative. It's transforming society, and it's really beautiful what they are doing. I'm almost directing the vision.
What concrete? It's so exciting with Aarhus Music School.
Well, we have different projects. I mean, we have done, for example, a beautiful opening for the Aarhus Capital of Culture in 2017. That was special and spectacular. We played all for the Danish Queen and family and politicians and everything. It was a lot of excitement for the young musicians. We played with the Aarhus Symphony also. We do one side-by-side program, the Aarhus Music School and the Aarhus Symphony Orchestra, once a year, where we put the symphony orchestra together with the students and we do very high artistic repertoire. It's happening in May, by the way. Everybody's invited to come, check the programs. And also we have this beautiful program to do Wiener Classic with the MGKs from the music school. And this is a good collaboration that has been developed together with the Aalborg MGK. So Aalborg and Aarhus working together, we are able to make a small chamber orchestra, a Wiener Classic type. I mean, classic size is not too big, but it's really focused in Wiener Classic, developing the style, and especially as I had the opportunity to study in Graz in Austria, following Harnoncourt and different people that are really thinkers and researchers about interpretations of Mozart and Beethoven and these specific programs. Well, I learned all that and I want to share it with them. So it's more like a laboratory what we do here. We speak about different interpretations, about the different ways of doing it, and sometimes we decide together. I don't behave like the conductor telling them what to do, but I many times ask them what do they like the most, or what do they think is better to do, and more like a Wiener Classic laboratory we have. And well, we're very happy with the development of it.
How you choose music pieces for this project?
Very good question. I will say something. One of my strengths coming from El Sistema, not only the social development, but also the pedagogical perspective, has developed in me kind of this thinking which piece fits better at this point of their technique, or at this other point, what can they reach right now, I always love the concept of giving them something challenging but reachable. And that balance is difficult to find, because if it's too challenging, it can become frustrating, and we don't want that. But not challenging enough, it's not like growing. So the balance of finding something challenging, inspiring, but reachable is what makes us grow. And this is how I choose the pieces. Of course, having every time more and more and more background of pieces that I know will work well for them. This is a project that we have done already 3 times. We started doing Mozart Hafner 35 Symphony with Rosamunda Overture from Schubert. We started doing Mozart Hafner, the 35 Symphony. And later we did Beethoven First, which was a little of a step. And now, not only is a higher step in the level, technical level, but also it's a bit wider, wider in the quantity of pieces. Now we're doing Sinfonia Concertante and the Symphony number 39, both from Mozart. The Sinfonia Concertante has a very good meaning, and it's because the 2 soloists, violin and viola, Cassandra and Kirsten, they are both recently graduated from the MGK programs, and they went both to Copenhagen. So it's kind of showing a beautiful success of the MGK programs. Now they are the soloists of the orchestra that they were playing 2 years ago. And that's kind of so everybody else has a star in the north to see, wow, that can be my future if I continue working. Something important, not only a star for the soloists, but also we have now some members of Musiksack, this program I mentioned, also included in the orchestra. So it's not only getting a bit higher artistically, but also it's involving and opening, embracing society a little bit more, giving opportunities to all the children.
I have last questions. If you have possibility to meet Amadeus, what do you want to ask him about?
That's a nice question, but I don't know if it's the answer you are expecting. I think if I will meet any one of the great composers, I think I will just simply look on the eyes and we will smile and we say, we're doing right, we're doing well, right? Like, I do know all the repertoire, and I do know the message behind many of the compositions, especially when you see Magic Flute, has a lot of esotericism, has a lot of symbolism, has a lot of humanism, a lot of messages behind the music, and yeah, these messages that you know are what society needs to be reminded once in a while. And I always compare my maestro, my mentor, José Antonio Abreu, the founder of El Sistema, with these composers, and sometimes even with Platon, no? Because it's the same philosophical seed, it's the same philosophical column, which is human transformation to become more subtle every time. And every time, and that's clearly in Wagner's operas. It's clearly in Zauberflöte Mozart. It's clearly in the big philosophers. It's the same message every time. Sometimes it's like we are so materialistic as a society that we forget what is life about, and so we need these people reminding us. And I think with music, with art, we constantly do it.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
the interview. It was a pleasure.
Yes, it was a pleasure
to speak to you.